the broken pocket watch. Said it was noon. That's the time the automobile peeled out of the lot. And you know, it was right then I knew how this was going to end. I'd been dozing off the night before in my Pontiac Streamliner, sipping up an armored heifer and smoking. I wasn't in the mood for a chase. I was on the beam with this case, and I knew where they were hiding her. I just had to catch them there. And I was ready to snap my cap at these hoods. It all started when my secretary got a call from a married couple. Their daughter had been missing for a week straight, and the local cops didn't have the moxie to follow it up. The mob, the commies, could have been anyone. They just didn't bite. And the couple knew that I was a swigger, but they also knew I'd do right by them. That's why they hired me to track her down. Florence. And they had the lettuce to make sure I did. The only lead they had was that Flo, that's what I called her, had last been seen at Mounds Park. Apparently, being 14, they believed her mature enough to wander on her own. So that's where the investigation began. I scoped out the usual types: dope heads, dealers, pimps, pushers. Whoever I was after wasn't one of these idiots. I did a little canvassing, flashing a picture of Flo. Her folks had given me nothing. I knew of a few brothels around the area and figured that maybe she'd gotten into that. I asked around. Nothing. Gambling dens? Nothing. I even asked Deuce and some goons down on 26th Avenue. Zilch. Nope. No amount of investigating was going to get me far on this one. So, I had to rely on the oldest PI trick in the book. Dumb luck. On my way back from 26th, I heard two mooks talking about something that made me prick my ears like a bunny. They were busting their chops about ferrying some people up to some kind of religious group out of town, near a diner I had haunted on previous stakes out. Specifically, they referenced young girls. Now, I was about ready to shake these fools down before they let slip the precise name of this joint: the Temple of Jupiter. They hopped in a car. I was parked nearby, so I tailed them. They must have made me because I went on a wild goose chase around town before they parked up in a nearby lot. I parked nearby and waited until they exited the vehicle. When they did, I crept over and put an old pocket watch under their tire. Then I hunkered down in my car and got cozy with a bottle of whiskey for the night. At about 3 a.m., I was awoken by the sounds of talking near my car. I grabbed my gun and held it close to my chest, lowering my body in the seat. It was the same guys. They were talking loudly about picking up a girl, saying to leave the car there and then head to the temple later. The idiots said the address out loud. Well, I figured I'd wait until they left to follow. No point getting there and them not being there. I fell back to sleep. When I woke up, that's when I collected the watch. Yeah, I overslept a little. I didn't say I was efficient, just expedient. I set off a short ways down the highway. The air was thick, and bugs were colliding with my windscreen. I opened the window to let the hot air out, but more came in. Eventually, I pulled up to an old factory building that looked like it had a massive number 2 or 4 painted on it in black. I figured this was the place. I coasted up a short drive and pulled up behind some bushes. Checked my 6-shooter, fully loaded. I had a feeling in my gut that these goons weren't going to go down without a fight, and I knew the cops had no interest in them. My focus was on the girl, or the girls. I sidled up a verge with my pistol drawn, taking cover behind some old tanks. I couldn't see any people. I made a move for the front of the building and then immediately beelined. Some guys came out of the door. One looked like a hick, the other was armed with a submachine gun. Rather than confront them head on, I slithered around the side of the building to where there was a window. I peeped in and saw what looked like a chapel. Pews, books, candles, and an altar. I didn't know what was happening there, but I didn't like it. The two men were smoking, so I continued round to the back. There was a service entrance and a loading bay. The door was only half shut. I crouched under it and proceeded to what looked like a packing area, but it being converted into some sort of sleeping area with bedrolls and mats all over the floor. There were military-issue rations and mess tins too, but no people. I snuck around some more until I came to what looked to be a locked trap door. As quietly as I could, I busted the lock and made my way down. That's when I saw it all. All the bodies, all the parts, puddles of blood mixed with mud. The ground splashed beneath me like the tail end of a rainy day, but there wasn't any rain. Holding my pistol out and squinting my eyes in the low light, I could see the bodies of multiple women strung up with chains stuck on the wall like slaughtered lambs. They'd been cut open from neck to belly, exposing their guts. Some of them had been flayed. It reminded me of war. I pushed on, but I lost my footing in the red, bashing my shoulder against a beam. Darn, I was done. But it didn't go down like I thought. It rumbled first, a gentle moaning like a humming child. Then it gradually grew, until there were shrill shrieks all around me. It was the bodies. They were alive. They started moaning and moaning. Even the dame who had been split in two. They were all still alive. I was rattled. I couldn't focus. I desperately flitted through the wailing bodies looking for Flo. And then I found her. It all happened quick from there. A light flicked on, illuminating the full extent of the horror. The two men from outside made their way downstairs. Obviously, not expecting to see me, they looked shocked. I didn't wait to ask how their cigarette break had been. I plugged the two of them, both in the head. Their blood merged with that on the ground, and they splashed gore everywhere when they hit the floor. Let me make it clear, I didn't have time for emotion. I needed to get out there as soon as I could, but I needed to find Flo first. You understand? It was my job. I looked at her. Dope was everywhere, all kinds, strewn about the floor. Flo was strung. Her arms and her legs had been cut almost clean off, snapped at the bone, but hanging on by what I guess must have been tendons. Every so often her fingers or toes would twitch. Her cheeks had been cut through, so her jaw was lolloping on her chest. She was still alive, barely recognizable. I knew what I had to do, and I did it. Then you guys showed up. Out of the blue, the boys in blue. How about that? And so that's what happened. You got your guy, detective. I'm the one who slaughtered 5 innocent people and 2 murderers. That's my statement, and it's what happened. And don't think I haven't seen that signet ring with the 24 written all over it. I've been doing this a long time, and I know how it ends.